So there is a question of what is the squares and square root story. So if you have a square and the square is of 4 pieces, each side is essentially 2, then what is the area? So the story of squares is what is the area of this shape. The shape is always a square, so that's why it's nice. So what is the area of a square whose side is 2 centimeter, right? So basically when you make a square, so you're saying that a square is how much, an area is how much space you can put something on, or you can say what is the area, means how much cloth is needed to cover that space, right? So the 2 squares that I had drawn cover 4, there are 4 blocks you can put on top of the 2 squares. So the area is the definition of square. So 2 square is how many these cubes will fit on top of that square that we have created with each side 2. That is its definition. So we can extend the same to 3 squares. So what is 3 square is how many squares you have on the surface, or how many cubes you can put on top of that shape which has both sides 3. So this is the idea of squares, and then we can have a nice game in which you are going around the classroom talking about what is 5 square, what is 8 square, what is 7 square, what is 6 square, and so on. So now we'll look at square roots. So the story of square roots is, if I have a certain area, what is the side of the square that has that much area? So the story again of square root is, what is the side of a shape in this case is a square, whose area is 64, which means there are 64 squares that are in a square, that are in a shape that is a square. What is one side? So again you have a square and it has 64 squares inside it. So since it's supposed to be a square, it's not drawn very well. Both sides will be 8, and so that is the definition of square root. What is the side? What is the side whose area is 64? So it is 2 power 2, which means 2 multiplied. So what is actually power, right? It's the number 2 multiplied to 1 so many times. So in this case you're multiplying it 2 times, so it's 2 square. That's how we get a square. So here we have 64 arranged in a square, and what is one side? Pause. Don't. Okay, so the question is, what is the story of this, what I have just written? So the first part is 2 times 2, which is actually 2 square. We can pause it once. So actually we'll look at this one. 2 square square root. What does this mean? So let's start with the square. We are saying the first part of the question, which is inside, is what is the area of a square whose side is 2? And when you are asking the square root question, you are asking, okay, with that area, if I make a square, what is the side? So I started with that, right? I started with a side which is 2. That's how I got the area, and then I went back to the side. So you are already giving the answer to the question you are asking. So that's why 2 square square root is actually 2. So you can also write it like this, because when you have different numbers, you won't be able to necessarily tell what squares they are. So once you factorize them, you'll be able to get pairs. But the pairs is basically saying, well, if I have a side of 2, what is the area? Then you are asking, what is the side? So it becomes 2 again. So if we take another example, what is the story of this? There is a square with side 8. I'm asking what is the area. Then I'm asking again what is the side. So that's 8. That's what I started with. Here I am asking, there's a square with a side 5. What is the area? Then I'm asking what is the side. So obviously it's 5. I already gave the answer. So that's why these expressions come.